On this week's show, it's all about the best of 2015. Welcome to GO's Best of 2015 show. I'm your host, Vanessa Ybarra. Well, they say the older you get, the faster time goes. Well, 2015 couldn't have rang more true for here along the Sea to Sky corridor. What a great year it was. So many events and activities taking place. So on today's show, we're here to celebrate the 6 best stories we covered here on GO. Starting with the first one. With 2015, the first year Peter Kent was a city councillor here in Squamish, he quickly made a name for himself here in town. But you may not know that Peter Kent at one time was a body double for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Random, I know. So being the true stuntman he is, this past fall during the municipal election, he made a promise that if enough youth voted in the election, he'd light himself on fire. And, well, enough youth did vote in the election. So true to his word, he suited up, and Shaw TV was there to capture it all. It was a move he promised to make. City Councillor Peter Kent steps toward completing his first election promise.
Everybody's asked me if I have nerves. Not really, because I'm in really good hand. We've done hundreds of these things.
The former Hollywood stuntman, having worked as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double for 14 years, vowing to light himself on fire if Squamish's voter turnout increased in last fall's municipal election after a dismal 38% in 2011.
I think there was a lot of voter apathy. I think that it mainly comes from the younger voters who just feel disenfranchised. They feel like, well, what's the point? No one's going to hear my voice.
Kent's idea to change those viewpoints spreading like wildfire, with votes jumping to 47%. Holding true to his word, around 200 locals and media braved the pouring rain at the Loggers Sports Ground to witness the spectacle.
It's really cool. When do you ever get to see someone light themselves on fire?
He's a professional, so I have faith in him and his team.
I'm excited to see it, and I'm also excited that voter turnout was up this year.
Whether that excitement will trickle over to City Hall remains a question. With a 22% voter increase in last fall's municipal election, it appears voter interest is heating up here in Squamish. Or is it? With a 60% of the population here in Squamish under the age of 40, we took to the streets to find out if our younger population really cares what goes on at City Hall.
I'm not very interested in politics at all. No reason in particular. Nothing seems to change.
I don't want to do it too much. I just kind of do my own thing around town, go to school.
I really care what happens at City Hall. And the one thing that I found out this year was that you can make a difference. And with voter turnout, we actually managed to get a new mayor in Squamish. We have largely a new council. So we're actually seeing the results of voting happening.
I care a lot about what goes on at City Hall because Squamish is a pretty small town. And so you do get to see a lot of the effects.
While an improvement, it's that still split mindset Kent is going to great lengths to further change.
So what we have on now is the first layer of underwear infused with the stunt gel.
His team carefully dressing him in 3 layers to protect his body from the flames. With Squamish recently ranked number 32 of top 52 places to visit by the New York Times, Kent is also looking to reach out to Quest University and high school students for online strategies to get the city further on the map. Like any change, it begins with attitude.
We're at a very pivotal turning point right now in this town's history. The youth are the people who are going to take it over eventually, and they're going to have to deal with the mistakes of the past. Get out there and make a difference, and you really can.
Don't try this at home.
And with that, it's time for the big show. Blazing a trail for future generations with a little smoke along the way. Gotta say, that was the second shoot I've ever done here in the Sea to Sky, and to this day it still remains one of my favorite and most random. And in case you didn't know, Peter Kent was Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double in over 14 of his films, including Twins, Predator, Total Recall. And today, along with being a city councillor, he also runs a stunt school in North Vancouver. So don't worry, we'll keep our eye out for Peter Kent also in 2016. All right, well, speaking of extreme adventures, this next one comes in at a close second. With it being one of the best zip lines in North America, Superfly Ziplines attracts thousands of thrill seekers to Whistler every year. So after hearing about its world-class technology and breathtaking views, well, I too took to the mountain to see what this adventure is all about. Its lines are the longest in Canada, its speeds topping 100 kilometers an hour. This is Superfly Ziplines, something I'm about to try today.
Hi. Good morning.
How are you?
Good, thanks. You here to do the Superfly?
I am.
All
Here to
right.
do a zipline. This adventure is starting off an intimidating one, my only ziplining experience in Costa Rica 12 years ago. However, with Superfly operations 3 years injury-free, I willfully signed my name. Next, it's on to the scale.
So if you could just bring your waiver over there, I just need to weigh you.
Awesome. Ensuring I meet the 60 to 250 pound weight requirement. And with that, our adrenaline adventure begins. As the only year-round outdoor operation in Whistler, Superfly Ziplines is, well, super busy, busing around 250 thrill seekers such as myself daily to its base during summer peak season, close to 100 in the winter months. With excitement and nerves continuing to build, I arrive at Cougar Mountain ready to meet my guide. Great, thanks, Dean.
You're welcome. Have a good time.
Ah, hey, you must be Vanessa.
Yeah.
Steve-o.
Steve-o, nice to
How's it
meet
going?
you.
Welcome to Superfly Ziplines.
Thank you so much.
Cool, so this is the rest of your crew. You look like you're pretty much ready to rock and roll, so we'll just head on over to our harnessing deck and we'll get you ready to go Superfly.
Awesome, sounds
Perfect.
good. Strapping on a custom designed helmet and heavy duty harness, this unique experience begins with its equipment.
A lot of other zipline companies would use a climbing harness, which can be a little bit uncomfortable, you know, it cuts into you. So yeah, they're just really comfortable. You can sit back and relax and recline in them. So this is our little demonstration line here. So we've got the trolley on the line. Next we're going to get you clipped in.
Unlike traditional zip lines constructed among tree lines, Superfly systems are embedded in the mountains themselves, allowing riders to soar that much higher and faster. With each line speeds jumping from 0 to 70 kilometers an hour in under 30 seconds, its shock-loaded brake systems make for a smooth but sudden stop.
So you do come in with quite a bit of speed. So what we like you to do is adopt this position with your legs up and your arms out straight holding the bar. So you're coming in like so.
Geared and safetied up, it's time to fly. Our first stop, Z1. Reaching a peak of 640 feet off the ground, it's earned the reputation as Canada's highest zip line.
I think you'll be blown away. It's a great feeling. You're whizzing through the air, you've got the beautiful views out there. So it's a pretty incredible experience.
Only one way to find out.
Ready, ready?
All right.
Here we go.
I love you, Mom. Soaring between Rainbow and Cougar Mountain, wind ripping through my hair, the ride is as breathtaking as its creek and valley below. Each spin a new beauty to discover.
How was your ride?
Amazing. It was so smooth. Our initial fears now behind us, it's on to Z2. Spanning almost 1.3 kilometers, this too has earned the title of longest zipline in Canada. Each second of the minute-and-a-half soar towards Wedge Mountain, a marvel in itself.
You're going for such a long time, you really get to experience the full thing. Sometimes with other things, they go so quickly, you don't actually get to really think about it.
You don't get any of that feeling in your stomach when you're on a roller coaster. It's nothing like bungee jumping. You're kind of there and in the moment.
It's a really freeing feeling. It's a way to feel like a bird, see the beautiful sights. It's amazing.
That's the really cool thing about out here. We get a lot of people who are coming up from Vancouver and the city and stuff like that, so we're kind of taking them outside of their comfort zone. Enjoy your ride!
Just the amount of acceleration that you get off of it is just phenomenal. It's like nothing else.
As we completed our fourth and final zipline of the day back to home base, it was all smiles for this crew. With flyers flocking from all across the world to try out these lines, for Steve-o and his group, it's about helping timid travelers overcome fear, all the while showcasing the best Whistler has to offer.
How was it?
It was amazing. So
Nice.
great.
Okay, you can let go and step down.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much, Steve-o.
No problem. Nice one.
Best way to see Whistler, guys.
Random fact for you, in China, about 200 years ago or so, they used zip lines instead of bridges to cross rivers. Well, that's one way to liven up your commute. Well, don't go anywhere. There's still tons of reminiscing to do on this week's show where we look back at our favorite stories of 2015. When we return, we look back at one fearless father's mission
I had no idea when I started this campaign how successful it would be.
And raise a glass in Whistler. Welcome to our Best of 2015 show, where today we're celebrating some of our favorite events and people we've covered here on Go. Well, with it being, of course, a community show, when we're out in the community, people always ask where we get our story ideas. Well, of course, that being 2015, a large portion is Twitter and Facebook, but even greater portion is just simply talking with people, which is exactly how we got the idea for this next story. A friend of mine, while we were out and about, told me about this GoFundMe campaign he came across, where one father was reaching out to the public in what was truly a race against time. So after talking to him ourselves, well, we too wanted to help. So we did what we do best, tell a story.
A monkey among us.
It's a special time between a father and daughter.
Monkey among a fungus. I'm the one who reads sometimes. A hippopotamus hopped on a bus.
An enjoyment that no toys or trips can compete with.
A monster!
For 40-year-old Patrick Rennie, it's these moments reading a story with his daughter Hayden that hold an extra special place in his heart. That's because Patrick is slowly going blind.
I have choroideremia. What it is a inability to produce a protein called REP1. And REP1 is an essential protein that's needed for healthy corticocapillary function in the choroid of the eye. Imagine like a irregular shaped donut ring that forms around the center of your eye. So at the extreme outside, you don't notice anything, and in the middle, you don't notice anything, but somewhere in between, you start to notice that there's this loss of vision.
With the rare condition running in his family, Patrick too was diagnosed at the early age of 13. With his night vision almost completely gone by his early 20s, the Nova Scotia native quickly packed his bags to head out west.
Kind of thought, well, I want to be able to see as much as I can now while I still can.
That adventure turning into spending the next 17 years snowboarding and working in the resort hospitality industry in Banff, Whistler, and Vancouver. Patrick meeting his wife Jenna along the way. While happy times with his peripheral and depth of vision also taking a significant dive 5 years ago, a lingering worry began to develop behind that signature smile.
When you're working in hospitality and working in hotels, you're transitioning from different environments very quickly. You could be working behind a front desk, have to park a car. It started becoming noticeably more difficult just trying to navigate those different environments.
Along with giving up driving, the North Vancouverite switched to an IT job in 2014 to ease his eye strain. However, after being laid off earlier this year, the husband and father's future had never been more unclear.
At that point, I was sort of at a loss. I didn't know what I was going to do moving forward.
And then one day, this 7.5-year-old changed everything.
My daughter climbed up on my back here on the couch and started rubbing my shoulders. And she said, I'm going to give you a massage now, Dad. It just came to me like a light bulb that, hey, wait a second, maybe I can be a massage therapist.
And with that, Patrick enrolled in the Vancouver College of Massage Therapy program, spending almost every waking moment reading as much as he could ahead of the course while his eyes allowed him. However, it turns out there was yet another hurdle to overcome.
I had to think, how am I going to pay for that tuition cost, because it's over $30,000 including all the fees.
Patrick deciding to launch his own GoFundMe campaign to raise money for his studies.
Right away, people started donating, people that I am close with and people that I haven't heard from in years.
Those acts of kindness quickly totaling almost $10,000 within a few months. With donations continuing to grow every week, so does this now students' appreciation.
I had no idea when I started this campaign how successful it would be, and it's just all thanks to the generosity of people who have come together. I just can't thank them enough.
With plans to start his 20-month program in August, thanks to his daughter and others, this once fearful dad's future has never looked so optimistic. Still, it's a lingering fear of one day not being able to see this smile that no amount of money or education can replace.
I'm gonna beat you this time.
For Patrick, and most parents for that matter, it's about enjoying the moment.
I think it goes right there. Oh, here, let me move my finger so it's out of the way.
For me, it's just been a fact of life. I always feel that I don't want to complain about what I don't have now. I want to enjoy what I do have because I know that tomorrow I'll have a little bit less.
I'm gonna race you. Oh, no, don't.
It's just second nature, really, just to enjoy what I have now.
To donate to Patrick's campaign, visit the GoFundMe link on the bottom of your screen. Interesting tidbit for you. In South Korea, only visually impaired people can be masseuses. They say it opens up more career opportunities for that demographic. So yeah, very interesting. But even more interesting and exciting, Patrick's raised over $15,000 so far for his GoFundMe campaign. And he even started his studies this past year as well. And we hear he's doing quite well. So good job, Patrick. All right, well, switching gears now to beer, because really, when is it not a good time to talk about beer? Well, here along the Sea to Sky corridor, we love craft beer, and 2015 was no exception. Squamish held its first annual beer festival and also opened up its second craft brewery here in town. Now, with many craft breweries starting out as grassroots operations, well, this past fall we headed to the Whistler Village Beer Festival to find out how one company came to be.
Welcome to Deepco Brewers.
Shay Tajare loves talking beer.
The Sunkist Tea Saison, it's one of our summer seasonal, extremely light, session style. Everyone loves beer. The industry that we're in is super fun. Everyone from the different breweries that are around are all working together to better this craft revolution that's happening. Would you like me to pour you a beer there? Pour you one of those?
Like most craft breweries, Deepco brewers and distillers start out as a grassroots operation. We're talking really grassroots.
I built and designed a small pilot system that we brewed small batches of beer right on our apartment balcony, and our neighbors definitely thought we were doing some pretty illicit things.
Strange, but it got the job done. Within a year, the mechanical engineer and his team had almost perfected their brews and were ready to enter the craft beer market, opening up the North Vancouver Brewery and Tasting Room in 2013.
People come in, they see this big equipment, they see the stuff behind it. There's a rawness that isn't, part of, I would say, the general public's everyday life.
CO2 setup?
CO2 is good.
Today, it's a team of now 15 members, including brewer James, produce and ship an array of pale ales, IPAs, seasonal selections, and more to thirsty drinkers along the Sea to Sky corridor, with BC's craft beer scene seeing a huge boom in the last 3 to 4 years.
BC in particular has, gone from 10% market share of craft beer to 20% market share in less than 5 years. A bit of a younger demographic. They're looking for more. They're looking for advanced flavors. This is our Starstruck Rye IPA. This is kind of the big boy of the bunch. 7% alcohol. We're using hops that are coming in from Australia, Galaxy hop.
Along with rye IPAs and steep tea seasonals, the team also collaborated with Whistler Brewing Co. to offer an extra special Belgian-style pale ale at this year's Whistler Village Beer Festival.
Basically, it has a lot of pineapple, passion fruit, and kind of wine flavors to it. So it's quite fruity, really nice on the nose, and it has that Belgian body to it as well. So it's great for this fall weather.
Okay, let's give it a try here.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Cute little mug. Well, that is nice. Nice and light.
Totally.
Yeah, just hoppy enough, for sure. With over 80 microbreweries now in BC, for Shay, already winning half a dozen beer awards in a short span of 2.5 years has to feel good.
Just great. Awards are great, and they, recognition is always nice.
But ask this beer lover the best part of bringing green to glass, and like most brewers here, the answer is simple.
When you're serving someone a Deepco beer and I'm watching people drink it, and if they're having a good time and they're enjoying that moment, that's what it's all about. And the fact that we can be a part of that is huge.
Personally, for me, there's no better way to top off a long day than nice salted caramel stout. So good. Parallel 49, Fuggles and Warlock, and Whistler Brewing Co. won this year's Best and Fest Brewing Awards. So tell us, what's your favorite craft beer to drink here along the Sea to Sky? You can reach out to us on Twitter and on Facebook and view all of our brewing stories we've done as well on our YouTube channel. Just visit the link on the bottom of the screen. Well, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll introduce you to one song guaranteed to be stuck in your head. Stick with us. Also after the break,
we do a lot of different skills, learning to ride over rocks and roots and bridges. When they learn these skills, they pick them up super fast.
We introduce you to one of the hardest working parents of 2015. Welcome back from the break. Well, in today's show, we're looking back at some of our favorite stories we've covered here along the Sea to Sky on Go. As Frank Sinatra once said, it was a very good year, and it couldn't ring more true here in Squamish, Whistler, and Pemberton. There was plenty of farmers markets, artisan markets, music festivals, and it was just a really stellar year as well for mountain biking. Now, of course, when it comes to news events, the top event to come out of the Sea to Sky was Squamish being ranked number 32 on New York Times list of best 52 places to visit. Get this, in the world. And while it may be the attractions and spectacular scenery that initially got us on that list, as we all know, it's the tireless volunteers and parents that truly make it the great place it is to live. One of those volunteers being Mark Bunyan. After 4 days of training, the time has finally come for these 8 to 10-year-olds.
And go for it. The large bridge over the river, a lot of people struggle with it because there's a nice left-hand corner that comes in. It's about 9 feet off the ground. And there are exposed rocks and the water going underneath and everything. It's a bit of a mind game. So what we have to do is we have to focus on the other side of the bridge there. There's a big log over there. We need to keep your head up nice and high.
Luckily for these Squamish riders, Mark Bunyan's got their back. Having grown up competing in BMX, cross-country, and downhill races in New Zealand and the UK, the 38-year-old has been spending the last 5 years teaching his own kids' bike program here in Squamish, with a passionate Kiwi coaching over 900 riders each year.
We do a lot of different skills, learning to ride over rocks and roots and bridges for them to be able to be taught how to do things at a young age. It's a lot easier to teach them now because basically they don't have a lot of habits. So when they learn these skills, they pick them up super fast. Go for it. Arm, arm, arm. Now no brake, love.
With this the second or third summer, most of these junior riders have taken part in the 9 to 4 Monday to Friday program. Being able to conquer this Wonderland Trail Bridge is just one of many highlights, with the group logging close to 150 kilometers cycling through various Squamish forests throughout the week.
We ride a whole lot of trails and it's really fun because Mark lets us go to the lakes and swim.
This has been really helping me with all my skills and it's been really fun. And when I can't do a jump, he somehow just makes me and I always do it.
Head up, love. Very good, love. Very good.
He's just like a confidence builder or something.
He's really nice and fun to ride with. The best teacher.
Just around the corner here is a neat little jump. We're gonna rock on in there right now.
Along with coaching kids and adults in the community, Saoirse Henning is one of half a dozen competitive athletes Mark coaches for free throughout the Sea to Sky corridor in exchange for them helping out with his programs. Whether it's learning how to jump, adapt to trail conditions, or use proper trail etiquette, ensuring young minds are taught the correct skills early in life remains a passion for this father of 3.
I didn't have anybody teach me. I think it would have been really essential, actually. You know, it took me a long time to realize that, you know, a lot of the stuff I was doing with body positions and that sort of thing, definitely in cornering, was completely wrong. 3 things I've always said to all of our athletes is breathe, believe, achieve. So breathe, they've got to calm down before they take an obstacle. They have to believe, they've got to believe in themselves before they try it. And then achieve, just go and achieve it. Head up, now go for it, mate. Solid effort. Woo!
With Mark's focus to this day on having fun.
At the end of the day, if they learn something from us here, if it's breathe, believe, achieve, if it's be outdoors more, be in nature, you know, have a lot more fun, they've got it. And they'll take it with them forever. Okay, on to the next thing.
It may be winter now, but it's never too early to start thinking about summer bike lessons. So if you are interested, Mark offers some awesome lessons for both adults. There's group classes and private lessons as well. So be sure to get on the wheels later on this summer. Okay, well, speaking of kids, here along the Sea to Sky, we love to feature inspirational youth on the show. And we've done quite a bit this year. We featured some kids back on Canada Day who are teaching us what it means to be Canadian. We also met one boy in Whistler earlier this year who's vowing to help build a Whistler Whistler's first BMX track, and we also met a group of students singing the name song. Now, what is that, you ask? Well, it's a song celebrating individual expression, and it all started thanks to one dad.
My name is Luke. My passion is art. Being creative is the way to my heart.
My name is Layla, and I love a good book, read of far off places, or how to cook. My name is Juliana. I love s'mores and the great outdoors.
While these two-line expressions may at first sound like nursery rhymes, for Luke, Layla, Juliana, and the other 20 students here at Myrtle Phillip Community School, they go much deeper.
I feel like now everyone can recognize that I'm a special, valued person in this school.
For the past year, the Whistler grade 4 and 5 students have been working together to create the name song.
Oh yeah, there's something in the name.
Practicing one last time before preparing to sing it in its entirety here in the school library.
I love singing because it brings joy and I feel like I can just express all the feelings that are inside of me.
I only like group singing because then I feel like it's not only me and I've got friends to help me out.
Why don't we just start the song right from the top? Does that sound good?
One of those new friends being Cal's dad, Glenn Mishaw. In fact, it was while playing guitar at a family barbecue in the summer of 2013 that the local musician came up with the idea to expand the tune celebrating individual expression.
One kid named Nathan Lee, who's also in the school, he got up and he said, let's play the name song. And I had the slightest clue what he was talking about. I had a melody in my head, I started playing some chords. The next thing you know, we're playing the name song. Because there's something in a name.
With only a chorus and a few verses to go by, the father of two soon looked to his son's class to complete it.
This is a song about celebrating who we are as people, who we are as individuals. So I said, here, take what we've got here and go home, think about it, think of something you really love to do.
With each of those submitted lyrics, including Layla's describing her love of books, as unique as the students themselves.
I really do love books. I mostly like to read fantasy.
You had to pick something that rhymed. It was funny.
I like drumming. Once or twice a week I go up onto upstairs and I play on the electric drum kit.
Our vision as a school is to make the world a better place. The premise of the song fits perfectly into the framework of the school and the fabric of where we're trying to develop our students.
Because there's something.
For Glenn, hearing these kids' carefully crafted thoughts, not to mention months of practice, come to life couldn't make him happier. With the school recording the song this past summer, the hope is to eventually share it with other classes and in local programs. With this volunteer's biggest wish that even when the music stops, these serenaders turned changemakers will continue to pass along the important message of just being you.
This is just a little thing that might make a difference. A lot of kids when they're young, if they have confidence, which is not an easy thing to have when you're young, it goes a long way. It stays the same. We all grow up different. It stays the same.
Speaking of names, Liam and Emma turns out were the top baby names for 2015. Well, as long as there's no more Northwest for 2016, I'll be happy. All right, well, that's it for our Best of 2015 show. Thank you so much for joining us. But of course, we've got a whole fresh new year ahead of us. So if you have any story ideas for things you want us to cover here on Channel 4, you can reach out to us on Twitter and on Facebook. And also, if you're interested in shooting your very own show right here in our Squamish studios, you can also email us. Let us know your idea. The email is cdesky@sjrb.ca. From all of us here at Shaw, we wish you a happy new year, and we'll see you in 2016.